we're gonna get started with our universal settings, one red spring. We're gonna work on some lateral flexion exercises today and kind of get our torsos moving. So let's start on hands and knees, hands out on the rails, and round your back up towards the ceiling into just a simple cat stretch, nothing fancy, while everybody's still kind of getting organized. And then lengthen back out to one long line. And do that again, press the shins down into the floor, rounding your back up to the ceiling and lengthening back out. One more time, rounding through your lower back, scooping. You can shift your weight back as much as necessary to open up the low spine. And then lengthen to one long line. Once you're in neutral, just hinge at the hips and pull the carriage underneath you. Try to keep your shoulders where they are so your body isn't moving forward and back. You're in neutral, so this heavier spring tension I think will work. Pulling forward, just feeling a wrapping around the abdomen, like you're trying to kind of cinch around the waist. Hinge to pull forward and return, and hinge to pull forward. Twice more. And last one. And return, sit back towards your heels. And let's lighten up your springs. If you have 3/4 springs, that's an option. Otherwise, go to your half. And come back out onto the rails. Take both hands to one side. You're gonna be in a little bit of a side bend. And same thing, neutral and hinge. If it's too heavy, lighten it up. Hinge to come forward. Yeah, stay in neutral. You're not trying to do a cat back. You're in a side bend or lateral flexion. Your torso staying still. It's just your knees moving underneath you. We've done lots of versions of this. This version, your torso is still, so don't add more lateral flexion. Your torso is still. I know I keep saying the same thing because I am thinking of different ways to say the same thing. You create a little bit of a side bend to put your hands on the rails, then your torso is not moving. It's just the knees coming underneath you and your hips flexing. There we go. Now we're all doing the same version. Last one. And take your arms over to the other side. You create that little bit of side bend or lateral flexion. You keep it and the torso doesn't move. The hips are the only joint that's moving. The knees are coming under you. Everything else is just doing a space hold or isometric work. Few more here because we did a bunch on the other side. And last two, and last one. And then just come back to the center, one hand on each rail. As you pull the carriage forward, round the low back under, and then return. It's pretty hard to move. And so if your head is moving a lot, you're probably skipping the lower back, or maybe you lighten the springs up more. That's a possibility, but it's mostly the lower spine between the bottom ribs and the pelvis that's moving. Yeah, and then the rest of the back is just kind of responding to that. Good. And rounding and lengthen. Two more round and lengthen. And last one round and lengthen. Sit back and come to sitting facing the side. Probably a half spring will be heavy enough. And grab the strap closer to your arm, the shoulder rests, and bring your hands behind your head. And just starting sitting nice and centered, go into a little bit of a side bend and come back up and over. Even here, we're thinking of lifting up to side bend over. So you're not just collapsing into your waist, you're trying to go up and over. This is your, the image of the Las Vegas water feature. Big shooting water up and over. Yeah. And lifting up And then you're gonna go into that side bend and hold your side bend. Make sure your opposite sit bone stays down so you're not gonna tip over. Rotate your shoulder towards your knee. Rotate everything back to the front. Do that again. Rotate your shoulder towards the knee. The carriage might move an inch or so back to the front. And again, rotate shoulder to knee and to the center and rotate and come back and come all the way back up. Side bend up and over again. Rotate your shoulder towards your knee and then stay there. See if you can rotate a little further deep in that range of motion and then stay rotated and stack up, looking out over the corner of the foot bar. And then from head, flex back over the leg and stack back up. So your pelvis is staying vertical and you're kind of going up and over a beach ball and stacking up and lifting up and over. Obviously, if this isn't heavy enough for you, you're welcome to add more springs. This usually feels sufficient. Kind of finding these different diagonals. And one more time, rounding up and over the leg. Deep curl, stay in the curl once you get there. And then rotate to the front and come up and over. Then we're gonna put all that together. So side bend, come forward, shoulder to knee, come across the center and then stack up in the center. So you're facing the front again. So you side bend, you rotate towards the knee, you come to the center and stack up from tail to head, and then start to make it more flowing, trying to get our thoracic spine opened up a little bit. Side bend and towards the knee to the center and stack up and side bend towards the knee. Center and stack. Last one. Side bend, rotate, center off, and stack back up. Good. Grab the strap in the inside hand, the one closer to the shoulder rest, and just rotate across the diagonal, reaching across. And you can do whatever you need with the other arm. And you're pressing across. You're trying to get the ribs to rotate. So you're trying to pull the ribs around. You picture your spine like one rib or one lung is on each side of the spine. Picture that rotating around on top of your axis. One more time. And then still making sure our sit bone stays down. Put your other hand on the edge of the carriage or your knee, someplace that's going to give you stability. You're going to go up and over into a side bend. We're adding length to this. So you're getting a longer lever. Think of it like a throw. If I just tried to like muscle my arm up there, it'd be really hard. But if I think of that water fountain, up and over, use a little momentum. Nice. And 3. Good. And then coming all the way back, grab with both hands. Take the strap more in the hand that's closer to the foot bar because I want the back of your shoulder to be working more than the front of your chest. And then wrap the other hand around it. I know that's very picky, but there you go. And try to connect to the back of the arm as you rotate around. Most of the work is coming from the abdominals to rotate you on your axis again. Just checking in that you're still vertical. And a couple more times. If you'd like to add to this, you can go across the horizontal, then go up and over the rainbow and rotate up and over. And you're still trying to stay on your axis. It's tempting to kind of lean away from the arms. Stay upright. And last one. And then rest, put that strap down. Switch to one red spring. And you can organize your legs for your mermaid position. Of course, you can sit on something or have one leg hanging off if you need, and then press up and over into your side bend, lift back up, grab the shoulder rest and side bend the other way. Super simple version. As you go over, I'd like you to add a little pulse so you go a little bit further into it on your own timing, 2-3 pulses in each direction. It's a buoyancy you're looking for versus like a ballistic thing. Yeah, see if you can create that side bend so that you're, especially as you're going towards the foot bar, you're side bending, you're not leaning. So your torso isn't straight, you're trying to curve. Yeah. And when you're done with this one, you can come all the way back and turn around to face the other direction. Once you're sitting cross-legged facing the second side, you can switch to your half spring and grab the strap that's closer to the shoulder rest, put it on the elbow that's closer to the shoulder rest, bring the hands either behind the head or to the forehead, and just start with that up and over side bend. Find that opposition so that sit bone stays down as you go up and over. And you're trying to shoot up towards the ceiling and then to the side, and shoot up towards the ceiling to side bend. One more like this, side bend, and then repeat the side bend, stay in the side bend, rotate your armpit shoulder towards your knee, square yourself back off to the wall in front of you. Rotate towards the knee and to the side, and rotate towards the knee and to the side, and rotate and side. Keep pressing your head back into your hands so you're not letting your hands kind of push your neck forward. Last one, face the side and come up and over. Then we're going to side bend one more time, side bend up and over, then bring our armpit towards our thigh, then keep in this rotation, stack up so you're looking out over the corner of the foot bar, and then flex up and over a beach ball. Your pelvis stays vertical, so try not to collapse through the pelvis. Each time you stack up to vertical, keep pressing the head back into the hand so you're not letting your head get kind of shoved forward. If it feels like your hands can't help but shove your head forward, then bring your hands in front of your head to your forehead. And up and over, you're going towards the thigh. You stack up to vertical, staying in rotation. One more time, flex up over the thigh and come back up. And then flex up and over the thigh, rotate to square back off to the side and come back up and over. Then we put that together into that smooth movement. So go into your side bend, armpit to knee, come to the center with the torso and stack up on that vertical pelvis. Side bend and rotate to the center, stack all the way back up, and side bend and armpit to knee to the center and stack up. Twice more, side bend and good, and side bend and center it off. Awesome. And then you can sit all the way back up. Grab the strap on the hand closer to the shoulder rest and reach your arm across and rotate your torso towards the foot bar. You're kind of aiming for that same diagonal we found earlier. Press the arm across the diagonal, center off. Press the arm across the diagonal, center off. And a few more here. Use your other arm to help you pull yourself into more rotation. One more time. And coming back to the center. Take the strap in the hand closer to the foot bar, wrap the other hand around it, and then go into your side twist. So you're rotating your torso towards the foot bar, then towards the back of the reformer, staying vertical, staying up on your axis. Lifting yourself around. Good. As you do this a couple times, Keep trying to connect to the back of the arm and your abdominals. You're not really pushing from the pec. Two more. And last one. And then we'll add that up and over the rainbow. So go across the horizontal, up and over to return the carriage to the stopper. If you don't want to lift the arms up or it's too heavy, whatever those reasons, stick with just the side twist. And rotate towards the foot bar, up and over the rainbow, return to the stopper. Rotate up and over the rainbow. Let's do two more. Rotate up and over and rotate up and over and pause. Take the strap on the hand that's closer to the shoulder rest. Put the other hand somewhere on the carriage or your thigh where it will help you. And then you're going to go up and over into your side bend and come back. Up and over into a big side bend. As you're lifting through your waist, thinking of getting a little more narrow so that everything pours up and out of the head. Twice more here. And last one. And then you can put that strap back down, switch to one red spring and into your mermaid Z sit position. Yeah, exactly. Hand on the foot bar, push the carriage away, side bend, making sure you create that opposition of the sit bone down. It's easier to do when you're going towards the shoulder rest. Little harder to keep the sit bone reaching down as you go towards the foot bar. You can add those little pulses in. And side bending one way, little pulse to try to stretch a little further into any tight areas you might have. And a couple more rounds here. Do one more each way. Finish up even in both directions. And then when you're done, you can come off of here, swing your legs off. Let's put the foot bar all the way down and grab your box. Put the box on the long way. Once you get the box on, make sure you'll be able to get the straps off. Cool. So one red spring should work for now. Laying on the box, chest over the front of the box. Just start with your hands at the side of the shoulder rests on the carriage or the rails, wherever you can reach. Reach the legs out really actively behind you. And then just lift your upper spine up a little bit into extension. And then lengthen back out to one long line. So a little bit of upper back extension. The bottom ribs will stay down. And then lengthen back to one long line. One last time, lift into a little extension and then lengthen back. So we're going to do neutral to extension. You can grab the straps, start your spine in neutral, and as you pull back, lift into a little bit of extension. And then as the carriage returns to the stopper, just go to neutral. It won't feel like you're moving that much probably through your upper back. That's okay. It's normal. Lifting as you pull. As your arm goes back, lift through the upper spine. Think of sending the heart forward. And twice more like this. On your next one, you're going to stay in neutral and pull the arms back towards the hips. Bend and straighten your elbows. Tricep presses, bend and press, trying to keep the elbows the same height the whole time. 3 more. And last one. Reach the arms back forward. Set the straps down on the floor or on the hooks wherever you can, and just come up onto your hands and knees on the box. You don't need the straps. And once you're there, just find your center of your balance and reach one leg out behind you. Just lower that leg and lift that leg. If you'd like, add the opposite arm, definitely more balance, lower and lift. Seems like it'd be the same as doing it on the mat, but it's a lot harder because it's such a small base of support we have here to stabilize. One more time, lower and lift. Hold up there, flex your foot behind you and try to circle your leg, whatever speed you can control. Circle, circle. Yep, nice. Reverse your circles. And then you can bring that arm and leg back in. Reach the other arm and leg out, or just the leg if that's better for you today. And lower and lift. Lower and lift. On your next one, you'll stay up. Flex the foot behind you and circle 6, 5. Keep the knee straight. Try to keep from wiggling around. Reverse 6. And then bringing your arms and legs back down. You can come off of the box and switch to probably a half spring. If you tend to need lighter for your arms, then you could always lighten it to a quarter. Put the straps back on the hooks or on the shoulder rest where you'll be able to get them. And then lay on the box again, like we were before. You're just gonna grab one strap. So the other hand is either at the side of the shoulder rest or on the headrest in the middle. Start with your arm lifted up towards shoulder height. You're holding near those metal clips and you're just pressing your arm towards your hip like one arm airplane. Your spine is staying neutral. If this already feels too heavy, then you need to lighten it. It's half the resistance you normally use for both arms, but it's more difficult than both arms for sure. Try to go all the way to the T and then to the Y so that you're starting with your arm, hand over your shoulder height. Yeah, so you're getting a big range. And then you're gonna add a side bend to it. So as your hand pulls to your hip, you side bend a little. Use your hand that's on the carriage to help you. Side bend and side bend towards it. It's not a huge range of motion. I'm gonna stand up and just show you standing because it'll be more obvious. So I'm trying to do this as I pull into a little bit of a side bend. That hand on the carriage can help by pushing a little bit. Yeah, yeah, awesome, Anne. And last one. And then rest for 2 seconds. Then you're gonna reach your arm down and just go into one arm plow. As you do this one arm plow, if you can, take that extra free hand up to your forehead. You'll feel how you have to work a lot to keep everything in the center. If it's too much, then just put your hand back down, but don't use it a lot. Yeah, so you're going from straight down to back towards the hip. Lots of obliques. One more time. And then return. Put the strap back. Grab the strap on the other side. Hand up to the side of the shoulder rest. Arm is up on the horizontal plane and just start with your airplane. Your arm is going out to the side, back towards the hip, out to the side and up overhead. Good. Nice, Anita. That looks easy for you. If you can, try to bring your legs more parallel and sits bones distance apart and activate the legs, maybe point through the feet. That might help you to get a little more activity going. Add your side bend to this. So your arm comes towards your hip and you side bend in that direction. Your arm comes towards your hips and you side bend in that direction. Anita, keep looking down, and as you side bend, your ear should go over to your left, or your head should go to your left. Like that. Yeah. Awesome. We did a bunch on the other side figuring this out, so just a couple more. Last two, nice carry. And last one, keep those legs really straight. And then return. Then we're gonna go into that single arm plow. Melanie, see if you can bring your legs a little closer together. For this one, it'll be more obvious the work of the abdominals. So go into your plow, your arm goes down and back up towards the side of the pelvis. When you're ready, you can try bringing your hand to your forehead. One side might be really different than the other in terms of how hard this is. So if this feels easy, you can always bring your legs closer together. You'll feel how your body kind of wants to fishtail off to the side. Nice. Good, everyone. One last time. And return. And then you can come off of there and come all the way off the box. And you can put the strap back. And we're going to turn the box so that it's up against the shoulder rests. Okay, let's keep your half spring, and then if you need more, you can add more. Be mindful as you come to kneeling on here. There's a little space for you. And then put your knees against it, wherever they need to be, so you're stable. Grab a hold of one rope. And take your arm out to the side. You're going to try to make a loop so your arm goes and kind of connects the dots between all those directions we were just going in. So your arm goes out towards the horizontal, it goes down towards the edge of the box and around. Awesome. And then reverse the direction of your circles. And last one, good. And then you can return, put that strap down, turn to face the side, and just add another spring so that the carriage can't move very easily. This is a very small space to balance on, but if you bring your knee forward, you can lean your hip against the box, and then you can do whatever you want with this leg. So this is option one. Option two would be to take the straps off, and you have to not shove the box that way. You have to keep it on the carriage, but be in a side plank where your hip doesn't rest against anything. Yeah, and then reach the leg out. Your choice. If neither of those work for you, like, and if that's too much, you're welcome to lay all the way down too. We're not going to be here that long, so just lift and lower your leg. If you're in the position I'm in and it gets to be too hard, you can always rest like 10% of your weight into the side of the box, which is kind of nice, so that it's building the strength for you to be able to be here for longer without having to hold the side plank the whole time. And then flex your foot, circle your leg, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, reverse, 6. And then rest your legs down and just be mindful as you come off of there. Awesome. So let's put the box back so that the carriage, the box can't slide off the carriage. Grab your rope. You only need the one for the second arm. And sorry, take your extra spring off or you won't be able to move. So you just have your half spring. And then pressing your arm into that circular looping motion. trying to find the stability through the standing arm. And then reverse your circles, feeling like your torso staying really centered. Last one. And then bring the carriage back in. Take the 2 options of the box position and add an extra spring so the carriage can't move. Make sure you're not shoving the box off the carriage. And then find your side plank and reach your top leg out and lift and lower. It doesn't have to be a big range of motion. We're just building our shoulder strength, that lateral side of the hip. You can either let your side of your pelvis rest a little into the box or keep it away from the box the whole time. Good. Yeah, Carrie, see if you can lean your body more towards the box so you're on a little bit of a diagonal. Yeah, that looks good. And then lifting your leg up and circling your leg. Ideally, you're trying to get your standing leg to not be vertical, but to be on an incline. So it's like your side plank position. Reverse the direction, 6. And then you can bring your legs in, come off of there, and turn the box back the long way. And let's, probably 1 red spring will work. If you need lighter for your arms, you might try 3/4 instead. I'm gonna grab the straps. And then let's first sit facing towards the, facing towards the foot bar is the direction we want to go first. So sort out your straps, scoot your body forward so there's lots of box behind you. So if you tipped over, you would be saved. And then take your feet to the rails at the sides. Let your feet just slide. And if it's too heavy to press your arms up towards shoulder height, then you need to lighten it. Yeah, okay. So then, like I said, definitely if you're tall, you're further forward. Not so far, it feels like the box is gonna tip, but quite far. So that if you were to lay all the way down, which you're not going to try to do, the bottom of hip of your shoulder blade would kind of hit that back edge. Okay, so we're gonna round back into our teaser position. So our pelvis is curled under. Our feet are just gonna glide. You can flex the feet if you need to have more space. Reaching the arms forward and up. Trying to feel that lengthening through the upper body while you're curled through the lower body. On the next one, once the arms are up, you're gonna hold them there and round back a little bit through the pelvis and then come back up to where you started and round back a little. Keep reaching into the arms and come back up and rounding back and come back up. One more time, rounding back and come back up. Return the carriage, take a breather. So you're either gonna repeat that again. We'll say we'll do 4 reps of each of those things. If you want, you can round back and lift your legs up and hold your legs up. Definitely you need the space behind you. You decide. Let's go, here we go. Make sure your feet are up. It won't work if your feet are down here. They've gotta be kind of shins towards vertical. Reach, towards horizontal. Reach the arms forward, round back through your lower back, scoop up. Round back through your lower back, scoop up, round back, and scoop, awesome, and last one, and then return the carriage. Take both straps in one hand, and we're gonna turn around to face the other direction. We're not doing teaser though. So Bring your feet either together on the headrest or to the outside of the shoulder rest, but the feet have to stay down. So arms in front of you like you're back rowing, start to round back. You probably can touch the edge of your shoulder blades to the back edge, and then scoop and come back up and sit up tall. And if you need to wiggle forward, then do. You want to make sure it's like bottom shoulder blade at that edge. Yeah, good. That looks good. Carrie, if you could move forward just a tiny bit, that might be helpful. I know you have long legs. Round back. On your next one, once you get back, you're going to drop the elbows, reach the arms overhead, and go into a little bit of extension if that feels comfortable to you. Circle the arms around and scoop to roll back up. Round back through the lower back, drop the elbows, punch overhead, circle around, and scoop to roll back up. Awesome. Make sure you don't just hold your face staring up at the ceiling. You're trying to go into extension so it feels like you're going back in that kind of tree exercise we've done before. Jen, just take your eyes back. Yeah. Circle around to come up. I think the other trick is don't just stay there once you get into the extension. Keep it moving, which is why I'm talking weird, so that it doesn't strain your neck. Circle, don't stop there. Yeah, try to connect the dots between the arms straightening and you extending and you circling around. There's no stopping point back there. Beautiful, Anita. One last time. Rounding back, reach the arms overhead, circle the arms around right away. That's better, Ginge. Nod your chin, roll up, connect it all together. All right, I'll take that. And then take your arms out to the side, airplane. Palms can face down or they can face forward. You can back up if you need more range of motion. Press the arms out to the side and press back. And then we're going to take this into a circle. So you push back, circle the arms down towards the hips. You'll bump into the stopper, just kind of smooth out that moment, figure out the range that you can do smoothly. If the ropes feel like they're too long, you can always grab up higher. So yeah, that's it. And then reverse, down and around, and down and around. Two more. And last one. And then last thing here, take the straps up onto the elbow and just go into a little open elbow. This is part of your airplane movement, but it isolates it a little bit more between the shoulder blades. So you're not trying to open your arms out as far as you can. You're trying to connect into the back of the shoulders, let them move, but make it smooth. Yeah, and last one. There's a reason we're doing that and it'll make sense at some point. Put the straps back on the shoulder rests and come off of the box and bring the foot bar up. You can bring it all the way up. And then lay on the box on your stomach. Legs are gonna be turned out and separated about as wide as the rails. And then you can feel how close the foot bar is to your face. You're gonna remember it's there. Push out through your arms. Let the bar push you up into extension. Flatten back out to neutral and come back in. Do that a couple times. Usually I find I have to scoot further forward than I think. And so you adjust as necessary. What's nice is you can feel how your hip bones and the front of your pelvis come off the box if you go into a lot of extension. Yeah. Draw the shoulders down away from the ears. And then as you flatten back out, don't dive bomb the head, stay neutral. So the head isn't leading you really. It's the upper back that's leading you. Shoulders down, your head pierces through the arms, you flatten back out, you bend and come in. Lift into your extension. Lengthen. And one last time. And come all the way back in. Awesome. Come off of here. And we're gonna put the box into the short box position. So you usually have to take the straps off, turn the box sideways and push it towards the foot bar direction so it's locked in there. Usually footwork settings and the middle D-ring are approximately where people need to be. And it doesn't really matter if the foot bar is there, but you can put it down, get it out of your way. So we've been kind of building on some side bends and we're gonna work on that again. So take your top foot in the loop and bring your heel forward towards the front rail. And then you're gonna sit facing the side. Your leg is on the box. You also can hang your knee off the edge if you need to. The more rotation you have, the further forward you can be. The less you have in your hips, the more back you have to be. Obviously, there's a limit to how far back you can go. The thing that you're gonna have to feel is this leg rotating in and out. The first part's easy, so just side bend towards your leg. Go the other way first, Melanie. Sorry, you're backwards to me. Yeah, there we go. And then come back up. And now allow this leg, the one that's straight, to rotate to parallel. So the knee points forward to go over the other way. Rotate back to turn out to side bend towards your leg. I think this rotation of the leg and holding against the strap is what people struggle with. So then once you figure that out, you can add arms into a big side bend. And I know you know this, so you just keep going. And feel like you pull against the strap, the leg rotates to parallel. Your sit bone lifts, like let that sit bone of the leg that's straight lift up and off and rotate. You won't feel like you can come back up if you don't get the hip to rotate. You'll be kind of stuck and you'll look like this. So you've got to get that rotation to happen. Yeah. On your next one, reach out to one long diagonal, then side bend towards the floor, diagonal, and then come back up and over. So just differentiating that moment makes it a little harder. Reach one long line, side bend towards the floor, one long line up and over. And twice more. If you need help, you use your hand on your leg a little bit. But if you don't need help, try not to rest against your thigh with your arm. Most of you don't need that extra help. So just make it so your arm isn't helping. Yeah, exactly. And last one. Side bend towards the floor, one long line and up and over. Good. Let's do the other side. So putting your other foot on the rail, backing your butt up a bit, and just starting with thinking about how the leg has to rotate in the hip socket and side bending towards the straight leg, and then just play with how are you going to get that leg to slide to the middle of the strap, pull against it so the whole strap is across the foot, and then allow the leg to rotate as you come back up and side bend towards that leg. Figuring that movement of the straight leg and that rotation, that connecting into the hip will allow you to move fully. And then we're gonna add that long diagonal. So you reach out to one long diagonal, you side bend towards the floor, diagonal, rotate the leg and the hip socket to come up and over towards the straight leg. And repeat, diagonal, side bend to the floor. Use your abs to come up, side bend towards the straight leg. 3 more here. Reach out, diagonal, side bend, rotate. Carrie, I feel like you might be stuck because your position looks a little tight. Like and because you have a different kind of reformer, I can't exactly tell you how to adjust it, but it's like you need more space between your leg and the box, or your foot in the box. And so it might mean you can shorten the strap that your foot's under. It might mean you can move your carriage out more. And this might be something you just play around with to figure out another time. If you can get into the other exercise we were doing the other day with the top leg straight, that kind of gives you a good sense of how much space you need. And if it's like your feet have to go forward because there's not enough room, then you just need more space for your legs. Yeah, like I said, I think you're just too squished. All right, everybody, we're gonna come up off of there and we're gonna put our box away. Finally, done with the box. Most of you are in your footwork setting, so we'll keep that. Bring the foot bar up and switch to 2 red springs. And double check your foot bar is locked by putting your hands on it first and then stepping up. We'll do a high half toe position, round back elephant to start. So rounding through your spine and just pushing the carriage out and in a few times. Round the back. Yeah, and we're gonna add to this. So let's all come to the high half toe position, even if you're flexible enough to have your feet totally flat on the surface. Yeah, exactly. Round the back. Okay, so then you're gonna bend your knees and lower yourself into kind of a knee stretches position and push out 4, knee stretches 3, knee stretches 2, and 1. Push out once more, lift the hips and come up into your elephant for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend the knees, bring them under you, knee stretches 4, 3, 2. Try to round your back and push out, lift the hips, kind of like downward dog to come back up into your elephant. 1 more set, push out, pull in. Round your back as much as you can, lift those bottom ribs. And then we bend the knees, you go into your knee stretches 4, 3, 2, and last 1, and come back in. Melanie and Anita, I think you guys just end up a little bit here. It's getting better, but you just gotta bend your knees and curl your butt under more. And it's hard. It's a lot of work on the quads, which is why I think we all wanna be up here, because you can kind of hold yourself up on your quads a little easier. We're gonna switch to 1.5 springs, lighter. Be mindful that it's lighter as you come up to do the same thing. So pushing out in your elephant should feel easier. Keep rounding the lower back up to the ceiling. 2, round your ribs up. 3, 1 more push out, then bend the knees, get your butt tucked under to pull in. 4, awesome. 3, that's good, Anita, yeah. 2, and 1, and lift up kind of like downward dog to come into your elephant. 2, 3, and 4, bend the knees, knee stretches, curl your tail under. I think, Melanie, lift your heels up to the high half toe position. Yeah, and now bend your knees, curl your butt under. Yes, and now cat back. Down. Look in the mirror to your side. Do you see how your butt's way up above your shoulders? I know, it's a tricky little position. Seems so innocent. And then come all the way back down. That was good, Carrie. And we're gonna lift the headrest up and bring yourself into your plank position, long stretch. So come up into your plank. It's not super heavy, so it's gonna feel like abs. Press the carriage out a little bit, pull the carriage back in. So as you push out, trying to stay in neutral, that looks awesome. Push back and pull yourself back over the foot bar, push out. Yeah, nice. 1 last time, push out. and pull yourself back in. Good. Bring your feet up against the shoulder rest. And 1.5 springs will be heavy enough for everyone. If it needs to be a 1/4 spring lighter, you can always make that call. But round back into your kind of knee stretches positions. We're going to do down stretch. So the beginning starts with you starting to articulate from tail to head, and then you press the hips into extension. Then you're going to lift the chest, look forward, feel like you're pulling yourself up through the arms. 3 times you push out, pull in and up. Push out. On the 3rd one, you're going to press the carriage out, and then like you get punched in the stomach or somebody pulls back on your abdomen to round you back in from the center. Beautiful. And from tail to head, you start to articulate, and then you press out through the hips, lift and push out. Keep pulling up on the abs. Use your eyes to help lead the spine. On your 3rd one, press out and round your back in. Try to round from the center. Last time, tail to head to extend the hips, lift the spine up long and press out. Don't drop the head. That's better, Ginge. As you press out, stay in, flex from the center of the spine to come all the way back in. Beautiful. Turn to face the side with both knees stacked on top of each other near the shoulder rest. And let's switch to 1 red spring, will be enough. Hand on the foot bar. The other hand can be on the carriage. Push out and lengthen through your side, and then use the springs to push you up and over towards the legs. Lengthening. And so the side bend happens when the carriage comes in. You flatten your ribs and lean, and then you're shooting up and over the legs. Yeah, beautiful. And you can play around with getting your head to side bend. You might even be able to get some stretch through the lateral side of the neck. I think most of us that look at computers are a little tight there. Yeah, nice. And then come all the way back in. You're going to come up to kneeling and go into your star prep position. So you're in that side plank. And if this feels like you can't keep the carriage in, then feel free to add a little more spring tension. 1 red is kind of the starting point. Press out and then lift and pull back in. Good. Yeah, Carrie, lean over into that left knee and side of the body. Yeah, exactly. And the right knee for you won't be down. Exactly. And so there's no side bend in this one. There, you're in neutral and you're staying in neutral the whole time. You want to have your hand in a kind of neutral position. You might be able to do it with your thumb on the same side of the bar as the fingers, but make sure your fingers aren't pointing back towards the springs. Yeah, Anita, as you come in, try not to side bend like we just did, down sitting, that you stay in one long line. And then come back in, and we'll do both of these exercises on the other side. On the second side, if it's bothering your wrist, put the platform over the springs and do it on your forearm instead, the star prep. Turn around to face the other direction. And sorry, knees stacked on top of each other. Hand closer to the foot bar, on the foot bar, the other hand on the edge of the carriage. Lean out one long line, and as you come back in, lift up and over the legs. And lengthen through the torso and lift up and over the legs. As you continue for a couple more, see if you can open up the bottom side of the torso, get a little more movement in there. One more time. Awesome. And then pick the springs you need for your star prep. Like I said, if it bothers your wrist, put the foot bar down, put the platform over the springs, and do this on your forearm instead. Push out and pull back in. This is that wine bottle opener feeling. Pressing out and pulling back in. So it should feel really different than what we just did, because what we just did was coming into a side bend. This is preventing all side bending. Yeah, that's it. We did quite a few on the other side, so probably a couple more, and then we're done with this. Awesome. Yeah, good. And then you guys can come to either anywhere from 1.5 to 2 springs to do your single thigh stretch, either on the high bar or down on the floor. That looks good, Anita. Yeah. Obviously, you can take longer than I am, but you also have the option of doing this standing at the side, opening the hip. Awesome. Good job. Keep doing your thigh stretches. You don't have to finish, but thank you.